power of the dark side.
Welcome to Star Wars Chatter, hosted by Andrew Van Zark. Now you're listening to Power.
Hello, and welcome to the Star Wars Chatter, hosted by Andrew Van Zark. And now we're gonna get ourselves running with Star Wars information, and anything related to that matter, you know. So yeah. Okay, so how's everyone doing? This is just casual talking, hangout of Star Wars. It's only audio, and yeah. So let's go. I am gonna get the music back on. All right. Let me get this running better. Hello. All right. That should be better. So how's everyone doing? I recently released not released, I finished a video on the best songs of Star Wars. It's gonna be uploaded to my podcast and my YouTube channel of Star Wars pretty damn soon. Let me check out if the stream is working as good as it should. I'm gonna switch the category though. So let me get here into all this stuff. Okay, let me check if the stream is working perfectly fine. Alright, perfect. Let's edit info. Alright, perfect. Okay, this is running perfectly fine. Let me check on YouTube because I restreamed to YouTube at the same time. Perfect. Alright, that's good. Perfect. Alright. Alright, so let's discuss here for a second the breakdown of Andor, the new trailer, you know. Alright, perfect. 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, it's just that my dog was being a little annoying. You know, the older dog. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, so let's get this running here. And let's talk about the Andor's new trailer. And let's do a breakdown here. So, following the release of the new Andor trailer, we'd like to take a closer look at it and try to figure out what the show has in store for us. We cannot stress enough so what follows the pure speculation from this, we're gonna speculate a little bit from the trailer itself. Let me lower this, it's too loud. Alright, hello? Hello? Alright, perfect. Alright, so... Hello? Alright. Okay, so the new Andor trailer just hit a few days ago, and I can totally say that it's huge, but huge on the Rebels, and we thought it was gonna be more specifically of Andor the show, but we can see more of other characters giving a huge part on the show. So there's gonna be a lot of development through the Rebels side, It's not just things that Andor do and how they connect to other things. No, it's completely about the Rebels within the time of Andor. So the Empire is in expansion mode. We already saw hints of this in the first teaser with the opening drums, but the threat seems bigger than ever. And Star Wars destroyers appear in the sky from what I've seen in both the trailers. My guess is that we're going to open the series with the Empire invading a planet, where I think we find Diego Luna's, aka Cassier Andor's character. The place we see in the first three shots of the trailer, ending with a massive Star Wars destroyer eclipsing the sun, is a shot very reminiscent of the opening moment of A New Hope. Seems to be from the Scottish Highlands. We know that the series built at least 2 sets. They were filming in 2021, and some of the pictures taken from one of them check out here. They seem to be from a place as these shots from the trailer. So, the scene from Andor seemingly shot in a Scottish Highland, and the scene from Andor over there also shot in the Highlands. So it seems like it's really heavily on going to European places. And I can totally say that this show, as stated by the creators, it's not gonna have usage of the volume. Volume is where they have been recording most of the scenes of Star Wars since the debut of The Mandalorian. So I do think that brings a huge part on the visuals department, on the ways they're gonna present the scenarios, because we are nowadays pretty damn used to the idea of digital media and digital ways of how do I say this, like CGI is the word I was trying to find. And having that said, the usage of actual real live sets makes it a bit more of a challenge when it comes to making scenes look as beautiful as CGI does, because with CGI you can exaggerate the colors. You can exaggerate so many things that with real live scenes and scenarios and sets, you get to have to play around with the camera and the way you shoot the thing. The If it's outside and outdoors, it has to have the perfect sun lighting or the perfect lighting that you're looking for, because when you work with natural lighting, that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. So uh my guess is that we're also getting reaction shots to the Imperial attack from another location on this planet that we already saw in the first teaser, and that looked to have been shot at Black Park. We know that the series filmed in this classic Star Wars shooting location in May 2021, and the pictures that leaked online, which you can see on the article, match the ones seen in the trailer. So that being said, uh, the next shot we see on the trailer is to that Imperial Star Destroyer. We see two groups of these small dots, which look like three carries that appear in the last teaser trailer. And I believe they are about to attack a village in a scene we've seen in the trailers as few times. This is where we saw a man sound the alarm in the first teaser, where Denise Goth supervisor Detra Miro appears later in this new trailer next to Death Troopers, and where we see lines of stormtroopers marching, Imperial officers going from door to door. 1 second, be right back. Need to set up the YouTube channel chat, because I'm streaming at Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Oops, sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. Alright. Let me get that. Do. Perfect. Let me get that. Alright, so if anyone is there in the chat on YouTube or on Twitch, don't be afraid or comment on what I am talking about, because this show is not about my pre-rendered thoughts of whatever I'm talking about. We need to also chat. You can chat. It's part of the show. The show is not like other shows that I've seen that are like podcast styled or any of that kind of junk, or radio style, and they are the ones that only talk, and the chat only participates in like just watching, and I'm like, that's not cool. If you make the chat part of the interaction, it'll make it a more smooth experience. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly. So let's get this. Oh shit. All right. Perfect. So a little bit later, more importantly, there we meet Adria Arjona, and notice the light and aesthetics of all of these scenes match. And we set a look at like one of the first one of the first to see Casey in the celebration teaser, but there are were lightnings and different. So the lightings there is different. So there are two options: either they are the same location but depicted during different points of the day, or they are two different villages from maybe two different planets. And here is my guess. Based on what we've seen in the trailer and what we know from the show, and keep in mind this is pure speculation. We know that the series is structured in four arcs of 3 episodes each. We also know that the crew spent a lot of time shooting in a gigantic set in Buckingham, Buckinghamshire, which looks like the village in the scenes. So my guess is that the first 3 episodes will be spent with Cassian away from the fight, possibly hopeless after so many defeats. He might be saying like I'm tired of losing or something like that. It's not just random line, more of on this later. Um, and trying to stay away from everything. For me, the most impactful part of the trailer, in my opinion, is when you see Andor like walking and you see all the junk around, all the droids and all that, and just explosions everywhere. For me, that is uh, the peak scene within that trailer. So there is a lot to question from this trailer. And there's a lot of things we can continue talking about it as we go through this. So what we've seen so far, um, uh, is only possibly interactions between Diego Luna and Adrian Arjona, and seems to be the one. Though the characters on the right is kept in the dark, and I'm not sure if she is Adria. It's it's something to like keep in mind, and therefore my prediction, and hear me out, is that after she is gone, Kasian escapes, leading to this scene. Now, there is one scene that is seemingly in this location that I haven't placed. It's in the opening scene of the first teaser with the drummer from the Watchover. After watching the first teaser, it looked like he was sounding the alarm, letting everyone know that the Empire was coming. However, looking back on it now, and after trying to contextualize the rest, I wonder if he is just announcing a curfew. The scene takes place during nightfall, but earlier than the scenes above, judging from the amount of natural light. The character in the watch tower also doesn't have the sense of urgency that one character that sounds the alarm during the day has. The stormtrooper patrol from that scene above uh, could just be to make sure nobody is on the streets after the sunset. Um, and maybe that's why Kazan is hiding from it. But I do think that the scene where the troopers are walking down on the hallways and the streets and whatnot, on the alleys, better said. That's the word I was looking for. Alleys. Um, I do think that it's not really to portray literally what we're seeing, in the sense like some people might think, oh, this is just them trying to keep an eye on the streets because there's a curfew and whatnot. But I think it portrays something even deeper from there. This show is gonna have heavy political innuendos. So I do think that the troopers walking down the alley symbolizes the oppression and the way that the galactic empire is controlling the cities, the planets, and all that. The galaxy in its totality. So it goes deeper into that. At least for me. So we continue on with Cassian, who we assume he now left town. My guess is that he leaves via the junkyard we see in the first teaser, where there are some workers Now, you might ask, why? Well, we know that he has a companion droid in the series named B2EMO. We saw in the celebration teaser in that place. So it's possible that the droid was just working there and Kasian is picking him up before leaving the planet. Here is a visual breakdown. So we can see that when the workers are in the junkyard, when we see the shot with B2MO, and when Kasian picks up B2EMO. So before we move on and continue talking about the breakdown of this trailer, there is one more thing we should address from the trailer. So one of the most breathtaking shots that we've seen in this image of a little kid looking at a post-apocalyptic landscape. We see this kid in a few more scenes out of context, so there's little to speculate here. Or is there? That's the good question. So Lucasfilm's officially description of the image mentions that this is a character named Casa, played by Antonio Vinja. So he is a character around 6 years old, played by a Latino actor, and whose name is Casa. It's certainly, though, thought-provoking. Here's what I think is going on. We know since the release of Rogue One ties in books that Kasian's parents were separatists. That when I heard that the Kasian's parents were separatists, that actually blew my mind, because that brings us to different scenarios in different places. It brings us to a whole new discussion. What do you think it implies with Kasian's parents being separatists? They're in the chat down below. Come on, comment down and let me know what do you think this would imply in the plot. Now that we know that Kasian's parents were separatists. I don't know how far back we're gonna see into Kasian's parents, maybe on flashbacks or something, because there's possibilities of flashbacks, the same way they did with Kenobi that we saw when Anakin and Obi-Wan were training. So I do think that implies a lot of heavy information when it comes to the knowledge of Kasian's parents being separatist. So Diego Luna also has the famous line, "I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old," which I always thought was a great setup for the series. I think we are seeing a young Cassian Andor, who at the time goes by Casa, who has just lost his parents in the Clone Wars. This is also a prediction I have on bingo cards for the series. We are going to get some Clone Wars action, which is probably where the show's lightsabers will be ignited. As he goes into hiding, he probably changed his name to go unnoticed. We see a few additional shots of the kid, hinting that he could be a key player in the show. And in one of them, he breaks into what looks like an abandoned ship. If it's indeed Cassian, he could meet B2EMO in one of these scenes while he's scavenging to survive. My guess, and hear me out, is that shortly after this, he meets someone from the other side who will recruit him to fight for them. This someone could either be Luthen Rael or could be someone that Rai meets during the series. So, that points him to Cassian, as we learned in the trailer that it is indeed Luthen who signs him up with the rebellion. In this new trailer, we see Skyguards with 2 different hairstyles, which could hint at 2 different timelines. I guess the flashback, he will have longer hair and then shorter hair in the main timeline. of the show. Skarsgård has short hair, but Diego Luna has full-grown beard, turning on the speculation mode again. I bet this is from the beginning of the 4th episode. So Guillory already hinted that there could be some time jumps in between arcs, and it makes sense that the second arc of the series starts with Cassian's mission for the Rebel Alliance. Rebel Alliance. So, Skarsgård is very much in recruiting mode. I need all the heroes I can get, says Nick Fury. I mean, Luthen Real. Come on. In the trailer, trying to fulfill that role, he reaches out to Saw Gerrera, who makes his triumphant return in the trailer. Obviously, we meet him for the first time in the Clone Wars, and the general audience was introduced to his live-action version in Rogue One. Forrest Whitaker is reprising the role here, something that Stellan Skarsgård had already confirmed last year. I was semi-surprised that they revealed this in the trailer, but I guess that Tony Guillory may have had something to do with the marketing. So, this show is gonna bring so much information to the table, like so much, to the point that I think that it might bring different scenarios, and since we're gonna see 2 different arcs within the show, and it's already been officially pointed out, do you think this is gonna bring more possibilities of expanding this era of Star Wars a bit longer? That could be a huge possibility, you know. And then again, Disney's gonna do whatever it takes to stretch out and you use all the money they can to make more shows and make things go even further, you know. That's how I see it, you know. Disney's gonna just squeeze the juice out of Star Wars as much as possible. But it does, you know, frustrate me in a way that they delayed it just for Marvel, you know. You know, I've heard so many people say, I'm fed up with Marvel, you know. Who cares about She-Hulk, in the sense, like, overlapping with Star Wars? I don't think it's gonna overlap, you know. But I guess Disney is just doing the delay so that people can stay longer subscribed to Disney Plus, because not everybody is subscribed to Disney Plus the whole year. Sometimes people are subscribed for like maybe the period of time that one Star Wars or Marvel show is running, and then they tune it out. The only people that I know that have the subscription the whole year is people that not just watch Star Wars and Marvels, but watch the other side of Disney, you know, the traditional side of Disney, you know, like Pixar and traditional Disney, you know, like Disney Channel stuff and Disney XD stuff. But I'm the type of person that when there's no Star Wars, I just plow some old school Mickey or here and there and Donald Duck and whatnot to compensate when I'm not able to watch more Star Wars shit. Cause I've seen almost everything on Disney Plus when it comes to Star Wars, and I have seen all most of the stuff that you see on Disney Plus nowadays. I've seen them beforehand, you know, like the original stuff of Star Wars and whatnot. So it is a thing, you know. It is a thing. Not everybody stays subscribed for the whole year. Let me see how my stream is running. Perfect. I'm just making sure because sometimes my mixer and my uh goes nuts, you know. Even though this is just a audio show, so the most important thing of this is the background music and the um music itself to be consistently running. Uh oh wait, did my stream crash? Don't know. Oh no. All right, let me actually move the music so that we're not just hearing the same song over and over. Honestly. All right, perfect. That should be good. So, for those of you joining the stream, I'm streaming at Twitch and at YouTube at the same time. So, if you have anything to say within the stream, don't be afraid. I'm always here. I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be chit chatting, um, mostly about Star Wars, but we can talk about any other nerdy stuff and music. But for the most part, I like to keep it Star Wars centric. You know. It's called Star Wars Chatter for a reason, you know. It's been 32 minutes already. So yeah, let me see how's it running on Twitch. It's been 32 minutes already. That's running perfectly good. Today the stream has been running really good, to be honest. So let's see. Let's get sorry about that. All right, so the ships of the galaxy of the Millennium Falcon. This was written by Dan Sir. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. And if I say so myself, that's what she said. In the ships of the galaxy, StarWars.com celebrates all the different kinds of craft across the saga. Strap in, punch it, and join us for the ride. So, time for another Star Wars pop quiz. What ship has been called the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy? Was instrumental in the destruction of both Death Stars and made the Queso run in less than 12 parcels. We round down at StarWars.com. So it's the most famous YT 1200 space freighter in this or any galaxy in the Millennium Falcon. So let's strap ourselves in the and prepare for the jump to hyperspace as we explore this legendary ship. So behind the scenes, you may have heard that the Falcon was inspired by a hamburger. Huh. This reminds me a lot when I saw the backstory of Pac-Man. Pac-Man was inspired from a pizza. He was eating pizza and he got one chunk. I was like, oh, it looks like a munching, like a face, like a munch. Munch, 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 munch. Waka, 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 waka. You know? So this reminds me a lot of that. On that did y'all knew that? Did y'all knew that the Millennium Falcon was inspired by a hamburger? Can you all see that the hamburger? You know, that is hilarious, if you ask me. You know, so but isn't completely accurate. You know, so as Amy Ratcliffer wrote on StarWars.com, the original design looked very similar to the ship from space in 1999. Interesting. Um, If you have any fun facts from Star Wars you wanna throw in the chat, but don't be afraid to type them in. Um, like for example, did y'all knew that Jar Jar Binks was inspired by Goofy? When George Lucas uh, composed, I mean not composed, like designed the idea of Jar Jar Binks, he was thinking of Goofy and try to make how we can get Goofy and slap it into, you know, the universe of Star Wars. So to team, so the team had to completely refabricate an all-new look in one day. In Amy's article, she quotes legendary creator Joe Johnson from Starlog magazine. Um, we took components from the blockade runner, like the cockpit, and stuck it on the side of a big dish with some mandibles out in front, he said, and in Light and Magic. John Stone further explains that it was the sight of dirty dishes that sparked the initial redesign. He caught a glimpse of stacked plates at home and imagined sandwiching together to create a saucer-like ship. Um, that original design ultimately became the template for the Tatived 4, while the Falcon became the ship we know and love. You know, if you look at the Millennium Falcon when it was from when Rey and Chewie owned and drove the Millennium Falcon, when you see when it used to belong to Lando, and when you see when it belonged to Chewie and Han Solo, we see a slightly different form factor of the Millennium Falcon. Um, I don't know if you've noticed if you've seen all the different films of Star Wars, like the Han Solo story, and so on and so forth, or if you've played the Battlefront games, you can see the different ways that it looked, because I'm pretty sure that throughout the entire saga, most of the characters tend to um put their own modifications, just like when you see a Mandalorian. No, it wasn't the Book of Boba Fett. In the Book of Boba Fett, when the Mandalorian um, picks up the N1 starfighter and just rehashes the whole ship, he puts chrome on it, makes it faster, and all that kind of junk. So I'm pretty sure that most starfighter flights and fleets tend to upgrade their ships from generations to generations. It does make sense, because you're not gonna stick with the same old, same old. It's like um when you get a car that used to belong to your dad and now it's yours, it becomes your own, and then you start using it differently. You start presetting different radio stations. You start blasting different music. You probably tweak the EQ of the radio differently. You start using the chairs differently. You lean more, or something like that. You probably end up adding stickers that probably weren't there. So you do get to modify it yourself. So I do think that it makes sense that from generation to generation, the spaceships of Star Wars tend to be modified or upgraded. So part of the magic of Star Wars films is the versimult that what you are seeing is real. According to Lucasfilm's VP and executive creative director Doug Chain, for the original trilogy, we had an 88-foot version. For our more recent films, they were varied between 110 to 112 feet. There were several complete smaller models built for special effects shots too. Depending on what was required for each scene, these versions ranged from something small enough to fit into the palm of your hand to over our 4 feet. You know, serendipitously, various model kits pieces were used to assemble the original Star Wars vehicles, with pieces of Ferrari and tank models used to construct the middle portions of the Falcon. Ironically, this fits perfectly with the legacy of how several owners, such as Han Solo and Chewbacca, have continuously retrofitted the vehicle in Star Wars mythology. Exactly. I was just talking about that. There's different models of the Millennium Falcon. If you see here, okay, the Millennium Falcon, aka the YT 1300. All right. So, um, when it used to be owned by um, Lando Calrissian, the middle part on the front wasn't separated; it was joint. But that doesn't make any sense in a way. That modification, that's too drastic. It's like if you had a car and then you made it a lowrider all of a sudden. It's the drastic change. At least for me, seems like a drastic change. But we can talk a little bit of why does it look different. And that connects to the segue of why it looks different. So Lando used the Falcon for entertaining. One reason Lucasfilms decided to make the Falcon look different in Solo is to reflect the personality of the owner. After all, at the beginning of Solo, the Millennium Falcon is Lando's ship. It's not until later when Han will win the ship from Lando in a game of Sabak, which you can now play Sabak in real life. You can find the game on Amazon and on Disney Parks, if I'm not mistaken. But I do think that Sabak should not only be played on the Disney Star Cruiser Hotel. I think it should also be played anywhere around Disney. Could be a nice gimmicky game to play. Just the same way that in the Magic Kingdom you can play the gun game, and it does play a part in that cowboy looking area or western looking area. So I do think playing Sabak around the Star Wars area at some point, not just the um Star Cruiser, would be a nice add to the parks, if you ask me. So based on the trailers, so when we see the Millennium Falcon within Solo, um it looks different. And it's not just the inside of the ship that's different, it's the outside too. You may not have been able to put your fingers on what's different about the Millennium Falcon, the flying sequences in the Solo film, but it comes down to the nose of the ship. The original Falcon had two mandibles extending outwards with an empty bit in between. The ship's doesn't have that piece missing in the middle, which makes the whole thing appear longer. It's a subtle change, but enough for us to subsequently realize something is wrong when we watch the trailer. Yes, I do feel it's a little bit odd that they did that change, but it is what it is, it is what it is. One second, I'm gonna go promote my stream. Perfect. Twitch.tv/AndrewVanZark. Because I need to get this running. Alright, Twitch. And then let me get the link for YouTube. Let me get the link for YouTube. Alright. Let me get this now for YouTube. And there we go. Alright, so it's a subtle fact to note out from the Millennium Falcon, how they changed it, Um but I wonder how did it change, because they never addressed that correctly. They only addressed that it looks different. Alright, let's research this for a second. Alright, here we go. We got here some information on how was it changed. So for those of you joining the live, whether on Twitch or on YouTube, make sure to comment down below from where are you tuning in from where are you chatting and listening. This is a radio show for us to talk about Star Wars. You can either just simply chat or simply just tell your friends and listen and share it around. The more you share it around, the more we will get into what is awesome about the show. And if you're listening on Twitch, they have a function where you can only audio listen, so it does play a point with the stream. So here are the changes of the Millennium Falcon. So right Ron Howard's Solo: A Star Wars Story is not only Han Solo's origin story, but the Millennium Falcon as well. You know, so uh, which is evident by numerous changes made to the iconic ship's design in the standalone film. So the Solo Falcon design is sleek, sharp, and above all, new. The new look appears to be heavily inspired by the ship's original design from legendary Star Wars concept artist Ralph McQuarrie. Plus, as co-screenwriter John Kasdan previously noted, the Falcon looks tends to resemble whoever happens to be on the ship's captain at the time. And Lando Calrissian, the Falcon's original owner, until Han Solo got the Millennium Falcon on a game of Sabacc, um, had more expensive taste than Han did. So it's not no wonder the Falcon looks a lot better in this film than in the original and sequel trilogies. So a circular radar dish, but facing upwards. Maintaining a work sensor slash radar dish on the Millennium Falcon has proven difficult for Han Solo. The cargo fighter was originally supplied with a rectangular radar dish, which Han later replaced with circular dish that ended up getting knocked off during the Battle of Endor. While Lando Calrissian was piloting the ship, and then another rectangular dish was attached to the ship in Star Wars The Force Awakens. But it seems that the circular dish that was used throughout the original Star Wars trilogy wasn't the ship's first sensor dish, at least not that exact one. So, when we see the Solo film, the Falcon uses a circular radar dish, but it's slightly different from the one seen in A New Hope and onwards. The new, or technically old, radar dish is facing upwards in Solo rather than forward. It's not a stark difference, but it's noticeable. There may be a reason behind the change that audiences aren't aware of yet. So, for those of you tuning in, did you notice originally when we got Han Solo, A Star Wars Story, did you notice the changes on the Millennium Falcon? Or did it slide your head the first time and it wasn't until your second watch or someone else noted it to you that you noticed it? Or you were playing Star Wars Battlefront at any point in time and you were like, oh wait, look, Lando won, Rey and Chewie, and Han Solo and Chewie looks completely different from what we have been accustomed to the Millennium Falcon. So, let me know in the chat down below. Let me know. Did you notice those changes? I certainly didn't notice the first time I saw Han Solo: A Star Wars Story. I noticed the second time I watched, and that sure gives a different take. And the reason why they decided to change it is because they wanted to note this is the era of Lando with the Millennium Falcon, and this is the era when Han Solo and Chewie has it, and this is the era when Chewie and Rey have it, you know. But the thing is that Lando Calrissian doesn't have the same taste as Han Solo. So Han Solo is a bit more of a I'll just do whatever, you know, and Lando is a bit more pretentious. He likes, you know, money and all that stuff. That's why he always is sitting on the gambling table, because he's always like money, 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 and always looking for the most expensive stuff, you know. So it does make sense why the Lando one looks prettier than the Han Solo one. But yeah, so let me know in the comments down below. Did you notice the changes? And not just chat about the changes of the Millennium Falcon, but you can also tell me the changes that you've seen on different things. From what things do you think Disney has changed that in the original trilogy or in the prequels were there that you were like, come on, that change is so bad. Or you could say, oh, that change is actually pretty good. I like that change. That change actually makes a lot of sense. You can let me know there in the chat down below, and I'll be glad to respond to it. Don't be afraid. Um, don't be afraid. It's all about the good stuff. All right. So how y'all doing? And you can also tell me from where are you tuning in on the radio show? From where are you tuning in? I would like to know. Let me change the music here for a second. All right, so let's continue talking here on the Millennium Falcon. So the Falcon's covered exterior and new color scheme. So while most of the Falcon's upgrades are relatively small and insignificant, the biggest alteration so far has been its outer planting, which gives it a slender profile, as should make it more maneuverable in tight situations. Perhaps that's how Han Solo made the Kessel Run in 12 parses. Huh. That's a good point to note out. Since it's slimmer, more aerodynamic, does that mean faster? Huh. That's a good question. Fans will notice that the Falcon had a lot of holes in the original trilogy, which has been covered sealed in Solo, a Star Wars story. So the most notable difference is that the Falcon's entire front end, that's missing in every other movies in the present in Solo. So one of Han's many modifications to the ships, including a concussive missile launcher in the front, which presumably isn't there in Han Solo, a Star Wars story, because the ship was still a transport vehicle during the time period. In addition to completing the Falcon's design, the front end also gives the ship a sleeker and narrower look. Furthermore, fans will notice that the Falcon has a blue and white color scheme in Solo, which is certainly different from the grayish look in the every other film, and it also has like a little bit of orange in some areas. So it not only makes the ship appear newer and shinier, but also gives it a sense of originality, thus nudging fans to believe that the film's really is Han's and the Falcon's origin story. Yeah. So the shuttle had escape pods in the Falcon's bow. So Han Solo has never had to abandon ship aboard the Millennium Falcon. The spacecraft does have an escape pod in its rear, as revealed around the time The Force Awakens released, but that might not have been the case in Solo, a Star Wars story. In the Ron Howard film, the Falcon's front mandibles features either a detachable cargo hold or some form of shuttle, perhaps the escape pod's original location? It would make sense considering that Han modified the ship to fit more in line with a smuggler, hence the concussion's missile launcher in the ship's bow in later films. So the Falcon may have the most beloved ship in the galaxy of Star Wars fans, but that doesn't change the fact that it's, well, dirty. Yeah. So there's a reason everyone thinks it's a piece of junk before they see it in action. After all, but the Falcon in Solo, a Star Wars story, is nothing like the one fans are used to. It's shiny, polished, and above all, clean. But then again, when we see the original, not the original, the sequel trilogy, when we see Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker. When we see that, I do feel the Millennium Falcon is quite clean and sharp compared to the prequels and the original trilogy. Why do I keep saying trilogy? It's not a thriller. It's not a thriller. Even though the new show Star Wars Andor is a spy thriller. First time I think in the whole entire series that we have a thriller, other than maybe books or something like that. And it makes sense. And there's a lot of spies within Star Wars, so why couldn't we have spy thrillers? I don't know. It took a lot of time to get to this point. So, is there any changes on the Star Wars stuff that you have noticed on these past few years? I do like how in The Mandalorian, for example, not every Mandalorian is the same in the sense of the color of the armor. I would have thought that the Mandalorians were like Spartans, for example, that they were all golden and red, or blue and gold, and such. But here you see that Mando is silver. You see that Bo-Katan is like bluish, with gray. You see that Jango Fett back in the day was blue and gray. We see that Boba Fett, even though Boba Fett's not a true Mando, is a green, even though he's using Mandalorian armor. So it's green, yellow, and red with a little bit of black. So I do like that there's different colors. I remember when I first saw the original trilogy as a kid, and then I saw Jango Fett, I was like, oh, look. I used to call Jango Fett when I was a kid, oh, look, it's Blue Boba Fett. That's hilarious when I think about it. Same thing when I used to call Darth Vader Star Wars, because I thought Darth Vader was Star Wars, and I had a DVD of, I think, was Revenge of the Sith? Yeah, it was a DVD of Revenge of the Sith, and when I would put it in on the on my portable DVD player, where you click play, scenes, or language, it had a picture of Darth Vader, and I was like, hey, look, it's Star Wars. And I was like, do you mean Star Wars as in the film, or do you mean that character? That's my brother asking me, and I was like, no, I mean that character. Oh, you mean Vader? Oh, Vader. I see. But yeah, I used to call Vader Star Wars, and and it's not wrong. Like, the whole original trilogy and prequels reside and revolve around Anakin turning into Lord Vader, and then Lord Vader being part of the Galactic Empire and doing all the shenanigans he did with the Emperor Palpatine and the galactic officers and whatnot, the Empire officers, So we're not that far off. I wasn't that far off. I could have been, but I wasn't. So, Has to you. You don't the power of the dark side like I know it. Alright, my Wi-Fi just went to shit. Ah, there we go, it's back. So that's the thing. So, for those of you tuning in, can you let me know your favorite Dark Lord, your favorite Sith Lord? I think Darth Bane is awesome. I do think Darth Traya is nice. I do think that Darth Talon is also a nice one, and uh, Darth Plagueis the Wise. Come on, the Master of Emperor Palpatine. And if it wasn't for Darth Bane, we wouldn't have the Rule of Two. You know. There's a lot of Darth Sith Lords around the Star Wars story that we haven't seen the Day of Light since quite some time. You know, we do have, sure, their comics, their video games, their books or whatnot, but we need to see more, or maybe bring it to, mainstream Star Wars. Because not everybody plays the video games, not everybody reads the books, not everybody dwells within the comics. I'm one of those that goes deep into this Star Wars lore. That's why I decided to make a whole radio show based on Star Wars, because I dwell so much time into Star Wars and Image Comics and whatnot. So I'm a full-on nerd. I collect comics in general, but lately I've been just focusing on the new stuff of Star Wars. And it's a thing, and it's a thing that we all have to acknowledge and enjoy. But it does beg the question: why haven't they moved on from Darth Vader and gave us other Sith Lords? Sure, we had within the original trilogy and prequels, we had Darth Maul. But we need more Darth, There's more Darth to be acquaintance with, and I think that some of them should not die on on this thing on video games only, and books and comics. They should at least once, at least in an animated cartoon, bring him to mainstream media and make someone see that there's other Darth within the world of Star Wars. Maybe like I said, maybe shorts, and just upload them to Disney Plus. I would certainly watch those. Even though we're gonna get a remake of KOTOR, so that means that we're gonna see Revan, Nihilus, and Bane again. When sure, I could play the original KOTOR and KOTOR 2, but come on, I've played that so many times. I wanna see the remake, because it's a remake, not just a HD HD rehash. Because sometimes there are some video games that they just improve the quality of the game, fix some bugs here and there, and they call it a day and they slap it to next generation. But no, I don't want. This is not gonna be the case, because if they haven't done the project and they're gonna postpone it and delay it till 2025, that means they're redoing the game in a lot of shapes and forms. It's like when they rehashed Clone Wars and they remade it into the 3D version, the one that got full-fledged with full-on seasons and whatnot. So I think it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna tell the basic story of KOTOR, but different. The only thing I hope they don't change is the gameplay mechanisms, the way you fight and whatnot. Because if they do change that and do it more like the MMO, I'm gonna be like, but I don't see any problems with the original format. It's like a weird turn-based but action kind of game. I don't know. It's a. I do like that pausing before the fight happens because it helps me think. Because I'm one of those players that just goes crazy when there's fight. Like, oh, I gotta fight, and they start spamming everything, and I just can't think. Even if I know what to do. Even if I know what to do. So it is a thing. This song that we're listening to here in the background, it's one of my originals from my album Strobe, and it's called Helicopter, and it's one of my fans' favorite song to listen to. Let me share my stream to my Discord. If you're around these parts, you can check out my Discord. Okay, let me share it around. I'm gonna share my YouTube one, and I'm gonna share my Twitch one. I see that more people connect to my YouTube one, but I don't see people staying. You know, at least on Twitch they do stay and they do talk, at least once. Let me go to my channel, click here, click share. Let me click Discord and click post. Perfect. Let me see who's online at the moment. I want to check around. Oh, that's for sure. I do get more people when I'm live during the day than during the night. That's for sure. So, for those of you tuning in to the chat, don't be afraid to tell me from where you're tuning in, and how are things running, and also to let me know what is your favorite, who's your favorite Darth. It can be canon or expanding universe. Doesn't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter whatsoever. You know? It don't matter. So 1 second, I'm just working something here on the stream of Twitch, because I'm also streaming on Twitch. So, if you haven't subscribed, click like. Clicking like really helps the stream. So I would appreciate if you can go there. It only takes a second, you know. Click the thumbs up, and you can move on with your day, you know. It won't hurt. and it helps improve the stream. Um, so, and if you chat, you'll be featured on the stream. You know, your message will appear right there on the screen. Let me change the stream info. All right. So yeah. So welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream for those of you joining in on either Twitch or YouTube. Let me know from where you're tuning in, and not just that, but if you chat, your messages will be featured on the screen. This is a radio format, and you're more or less just gonna see this on screen while I talk from Star Wars. We've been talking about the differences of the Millennium Falcon when it used to be from Lando, from Rey to Han Solo. We have talked about our favorite Darth characters, and if you want, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I got two YouTube channels, one for Andrew Van Zark when it's all about music, and I have the one from Star Wars Chatter where we just do anything related to Star Wars, from remixes of clips of Star Wars, from short versions of my radio show, or maybe a meme and rehash it for Star Wars use, you know, or maybe a re-upload of a section of somewhere where they made a parody of Star Wars that I think should be seen more often than not. So, you know, those are the things. So I have a new video that's going to be uploaded probably tomorrow. And it's going to have, and it's also going to be on my podcast version. It's going to have the best songs of Star Wars. So you can tune in, listen, and check out the best songs from Star Wars. You know, comparing it with John Williams compositions. I only specifically talked about John Williams, and half of my chatting here, it's half, you know, so some extent is it's internet research, and my and the other one's my experience, my opinions within the story of Star Wars, what I've experienced throughout my entire life, and all that kind of stuff, you know. So my information here is a little bit internet research, in my opinion, because, you know, when I watch the cartoons, the video games, I play them, or when I read the comics or books or whatnot, I do generate my own opinion. I do think this can resemble this and this and yada yada. So it's not only what I research, it's also my experience when I will consume media of Star Wars. That's why I have this disclaimer running. I have a disclaimer that runs that says, The information on this podcast is my internet. It's my opinion and some internet research. So that people can note out that some of it might be my opinion and some of it might be some internet research that I found, you know? Some internet research. And the music on the background is my original music. Just saying, you know. Alright, let me get this. Twitch.tv/Andrevanzark. Pin message. So I just pinned in there on the chat the link of my Twitch channel where I have more followers and whatnot. But I do both of the streams at the same time, so that if you're not able to watch me on Twitch because you don't have a Twitch account, you can watch it on YouTube. But if you do have a Twitch account, you can go ahead and go to Twitch. You know, Twitch has better features when it comes to the live stream, but YouTube has better reachability. You know, I've seen more people tune into my show here than what I've seen people tune into the Twitch one, you know. Oh, and if I open it on Facebook, might be a different story, but I don't want to overdo it, you know. Don't want to overdo it. But if you have the chance to um, share the stream around, be doing so, you know. It's one of those things that should be done. Doesn't take you longer. Doesn't take you um doesn't go any further than that, you know. So I appreciate you liking. I appreciate you doing this stuff. Let me tune in with my. Let me check on my other YouTube channel, my music channel. Okay, let me get into the Star Wars chatter here. Doopy 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 doop doop. Doopy 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 doop. Bloop. Perfect. Perfect. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate you sharing, talking, and all that kind of stuff. You know. Um. So if you have anything to ask me, it's the time to ask. We're just hanging out, talking Star Wars, and like it says there, we can also talk about music. Cause when I do these lives on Twitch, which I'm doing it simultaneously, my Twitch is completely based around both of my YouTube channels. So it has a little bit of both. Mostly I push the Star Wars content stuff because it rolls better, but I do have the ability to do the music stuff at the same time. So you know the drill. All right. Do. Pew pew pew. And we've also talked about the different stuff that we can note out from the Star Wars Andor's new trailer. You know? But 1 second, I'll be right back. I might need some more water. Be right back. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Van Zark, stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van Zark, you listen with power. Now, you're listening with power. Andrew Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Power to the music. When you listen to Andrew Van's Arc, you listen with power. Now you're listening with power. Andrew Van's Arc. Stream on every major music platform. Alright, I'll be back. Power to the music, 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 music. Music. Stream of maybe it's a platform. Power. Alright, let me get the music back in here.